Welcome to my tutorial. In this video, I am going to be showing you how to build this little bee farm right here. Now, the great thing about this bee farm is it's tillable. You can build as many to the left, to the right, and even vertically as you want. And the other cool thing about this farm is you can swap between honey production or honeycombs. So let's show you what those building materials are and how to build it. Go ahead and pause that video real quick for a list of building materials. You will need each of these for every module that you build. The slabs and trapdoors can be any that you want them to be. The base building material, you're going to need some, probably will match whatever your base or build is going to be. You will need a dropper and a dispenser. And if you have concerns about item frames causing lag from loading entities, I will show you an alternate option that you can do for that. So let's start building. For this build, we are going to need an area that is 7 blocks long, 5 blocks tall, and 4 blocks wide. To start this build, I'm going to place 4 blocks down here in the very front and put my double chest in the very center. Behind it, I'm going to go ahead and put a hopper going into the back of each side of that chest, and on the left side, another hopper going into my hopper. Then next to the hoppers, I'm going to come back 2 more blocks on both sides. And in this space, that gap that we have right there, let's go ahead and fill that in with another block. On this right side, I'm going to add my dropper facing inward. And right here next to the dropper facing upward, I'm going to go ahead and add the dispenser. Now this is where our beehive is going to rest on top of that dispenser. But if you add it now, your bees are going to get loose, so we'll save that task for later. Alright, on the right side back here, let's go ahead and place 4 blocks coming back to the very edge. And then next to that, just another 4 blocks. We're going to skip one and add a little just offshoot there on the side. And then in the back center, we want to come up 1 block. Then with our hoppers, we're going to come back going into that other hopper, go up, and then over, so it's directly behind our dispenser. Then let's add a redstone torch coming off the side of this back one and put a piece of redstone dust on top of it. Then behind our dispenser, we're going to add 2 pieces of dust, and directly left of that in the very front, we're going to put a repeater at 4 ticks, skip a space, and do it again. Now in this space between the 2 repeaters, we're going to build up 2 blocks. And then on the opposite side of that top one, we're going to place an observer that's going to be looking up into the sky. Then from here, let's go ahead and fill in that gap. I'm going to pause the video for just 1 second. That block that I've circled right there that I just placed, that's a mistake. That needs to be a slab, and it needs to be in the upper position so that you can put a piece of redstone dust on it. And then we're going to add a comparator on top of this hopper. And make sure that you right click on that little knob there to put it in subtraction mode, and then put a repeater in front of that. Now on this opposite side, we're going to put another comparator and then a piece of redstone dust. Now behind this last repeater here, let's go ahead and add a block so it's kitty corner up, and then on the back side of that block, we're going to place a redstone torch. Then the last thing we have to do is just put another block next to that one, and our redstone is almost completely done. At this point, we need to add an item frame just left of that redstone torch at the very top. And then I'm going to use an arrow and then right click on that until that arrow is pointing straight down. This is going to give us a signal strength of 4 that we're going to use in that subtraction mode to let it know when the beehive is full of honey. Now, I mentioned before I was going to give you an alternative option to this. If you're concerned about item frames building up your world entity count, here's some other options for you. So what we need to do is output a signal strength of 4. It doesn't matter how you do it. You may actually even come up with a way that I'm not showing here. So with our item frame here, the downfall is you're loading entities that really don't have any purpose. It's just a very easy way to do it. But that arrow does need to be pointing down. Anything else is going to give you either a too strong of a signal or a too weak of one. So that's what we have to do with the item frame. Without the entity loading, you could use a furnace, and just with regular items, 42 items inside a furnace with this comparator will give you the strength that you need. If you want to use an item that stacks up to 16, then 11 is what you're going to need to put in there. You could use a brew stand as well with just a water bottle and 5 nether wart. That will give you the strength. And if you've got nothing else to do with them, if you just put a chest down there with about 6 stacks of diamond blocks, that should give you a signal strength of about 4 as well. Returning to the front here, what we're going to want to do is add a hopper going down into our dropper, and then put just a barrel on top of that. Then on the right side, let's go ahead and add some azalea bushes. And then on this hopper back here next to our dispenser, we're going to go and place a trapdoor, hold down shift and place another one on top of it, and then just flip those 2 trapdoors up. Then with our regular block, we'll just place some to the left of that, and then we can put 2 azalea bushes right in front of those ones right there. Coming off of this barrel, hold down shift, and then we're going to build 2 blocks over for a roof. And then above that, place 2 more azalea bushes. Now at this point, you're probably going to wait for either a rainstorm or for it to be night. You want a beehive that has 3 bees in it. You're going to go ahead and place that right on top of the dispenser. Now there is an important step here depending on whether you want to get honey or honeycombs. If you want honeycombs, go ahead and put a shear right inside of that dispenser. If you want honey, put an empty bottle in there right now. Then the only thing we want to do is close this off so the bees don't get loose. So we're just going to put 4 pieces of glass right here in the very front. Alright, I'm going to take a quick moment to explain how to use this. What we want to do now is load up this barrel with either more shears or empty bottles, depending on whether you want honey or honeycombs. Just as a warning, the dispenser down here can only hold 9 shears, so you never want more than that in there. And there's an issue with the honey bottles, and that is empty bottles stack up to 64, but honey bottles only stack up to 16. So if you want a full double chest of honey bottles, that's going to be 13.5 stacks of empty bottles. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was what happens when your resources all get used up. So your shears break or all your empty bottles have been filled, and what's going to happen is the bees are going to fill up the beehive, and this is your triggering event that moves everything through the system. So the system's kind of locked at this point, and we're going to have to do something to get it working again. You're going to need to fill up your barrel with bottles or shears, whatever you're using, however many you're putting in there. So I'm going to keep 2 bottles out and then just put a full stack in there. They're going to go down inside of my dropper, and then I'm going to have to run around to the back side. Now this line that kind of sticks out right here, if you're building these that are right next to each other, if you're tiling them, this will actually create a solid path, and you will need access to this path right here. Now looking on the back side, we can see our beehive, and then in between these hoppers we can actually go ahead and access that dispenser. Go ahead and put one of those extra bottles inside that dispenser, and then we need to go ahead and clear this system so that it can start working again. So either with shears you can right click the beehive, or with an empty bottle you can collect honey that way. And we saw that our comparator turned off. The system's been reset. There should be we can click on it, our glass bottle still in there. It's still good to go. And the bees will be angry at you. Stay away from the glass, because if they sting you, the bee will die, and then you're gonna have to figure out how to either breed them or get more bees in there. And that's just a pain we don't want to deal with. Just wanted to show you what it was going to look like when you were tiling the farm. The only thing that you're going to notice that's different really is on the far left side, you are actually going to have blocks here on the inside, but in the middle you're going to have a shared section between, and so those blocks aren't going to go there. You're going to actually have your dropper and your hopper there. So other than that though, you do have your barrels on the top of each section on the right, and then coming around to the back, Here's that line that I was talking about before that you can run through and access the back of every dropper or dispenser. Well, you can, if you turn this way, you can get to the droppers as well. And then there's the back of the beehive, so you can hit those shears or bottles when you need to reset the system. So you do need access to the back of it. The only other thing I would say is if you didn't want to have your storage like this, you could actually have all the hoppers pointing towards the back of it, and then coming down here, I would have a hopper line coming back out just like so, and then you could put that into a central storage system or collection system, however you want to sort your items or move them around. Well, thanks for watching my tutorial. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and hit that like button. If you feel like supporting the channel, go ahead and subscribe, and thank you very much. If you want to see some other stuff, I have some other farms that you can look at, and I actually run a little series on an SMP server that me and my brothers play on. So have fun, and thanks for watching.